We are live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Talk Chef. I am one of your hosts, Reka.
I'm your other host, Jordan.
And we have a really special guest today. You're going to see him on the upcoming NBC show, Mr. Mayor. It's Mike Cabellon.
Hello. How's it going, everybody? Here's my dirty Band-Aid. Hello. I raised that hand.
I also have a dirty Band-Aid, Mike. It is on my foot, and I won't show my foot because everyone on the internet is a freak. So.
That's right. Do you remember where you were when you got your first email notifying you that WikiFeet has an entry on you now?
I am desperately trying not to ever be on that website. I've gone through photos.
You guys are both more famous than me, and you're waving it in my face right now. I would love to be on WikiFeet. No one is even interested.
That.
Jordan keeps posting pictures of her feet.
Please post them on WikiFeet.
We are begging WikiFeet to make an entry for her, please.
Yes. Not that I thought this is where we were starting, but Mike, do you have a WikiFeet page?
I do. It has one picture on it from Instagram from literally like 8 or 9 years ago.
Yeah.
And last I checked, I had like a 3.
Out of 10? Out of 100?
It's out of 1,000. It's really terrible.
It's very funny because, well, is it rude for me to look at this?
No, please, by all means.
It's much more of a crotch shot than a foot shot.
It is. Yeah.
He's like laying down at the beach, and it's down his body. You look great. I'll say it. You look great.
Thank you so much.
Okay, Jordan, this is a time to exercise your civic duty. Vote so that Mike, we can bring Mike up a little bit.
I got to put on the feet. The feet look good.
Put 1,000 in the votometer.
Yeah.
They look good. I am giving them I'm not logged in. Okay, I'm gonna create a WikiFeet account tonight.
Create a Talk Chef WikiFeet.
Because I feel like I've seen Mike's feet in real life. Probably Mike and I are friends. We've done many shows together and lots of things. I feel like I've definitely probably seen the feet. Yes. And I have no bad memories of them, so they must be great.
Yeah, I think they're objectively normal feet. There's nothing wrong with them. They're not model feet, but they're feet. You know.
Yeah. I mean, what more could you want than objectively normal feet?
Yeah, I'm not trying to be in like a
so far.
Yes. Yeah. Oh my God, we're at negative 1,000 viewers. Okay.
We owe you
because of the time lapse. You're just starting to talk about the feet on the stream, so now we're up to 100,000.
Well, Mike, thank you so much for joining us. We are so excited to have you here. A couple orders of business as usual. Our fans know this is a charity live stream. Every week we donate to a food-based charity, and this week is no different. So Jordan, let's hit them with that charity.
I'm very excited. This week is World Central Kitchen, which is a charity started by Jose Andres, who is a famous chef that also has gotten really into philanthropy in the last few years.
Who has been on Top Chef before.
Yes,
multiple times.
Yes. Right?
He's in Top Chef Masters. He's also a judge in many seasons, including Top Chef season, what was it? 13? It's when we're in they're in the desert and they have those special.
That's right. Yeah.
Yes.
But he seems like a truly incredible man, and he has a charity called World Central Kitchen where he does a lot of outreach of all kinds in countries and places, cities that are in need. So right now, obviously, their biggest project, from what their website is leading me to believe, is a focus on COVID-related things. But I know in the past they did a lot with the hurricane in Puerto Rico. They've done just done a ton of good stuff. Jose Andres is like a really incredible person, so that's what we're raising money for tonight. And I have something that's actually going to blow the minds of fans. You may not have seen it on our Instagram, but Mike is matching the donations for tonight's show. Something that's never been done before.
This has literally never been done in Talk Chef history. We freaking love this. This is so kind.
Absolutely incredible.
So
we always say this.
Yeah.
We always say, even if you donate $1,
exactly,
$1 is going to become $2.
Exactly. My goal is to clean out Mike's bank account by tonight.
Make me broke.
Hashtag make Mike broke is what we're trying to do. So I can't wait. They're already flooding in. We've gotten 2 donations so far. The show just started.
Amazing.
Unbelievable.
And as usual, guys,
No. Go, Reka.
I was going to say, if you want to hit us with those donations, there's 2 ways to do it. One, Venmo Jordan at her Venmo handle at JORDANMYR1CK. That's in the chat. It's in the description of this video. Also, if you want to just do it personally yourself to the World Central Kitchen website, if you live, somewhere that's not the United States and it's hard to do Venmo or PayPal, you can do that, and you can send us the receipt if you want us to tally that in tonight's total. And this will be up for 24 hours. We'll be taking donations. Any amount counts. Please support this awesome organization.
Yeah, it's so great. And Jose Andres is like cool and like hot.
He's cool and hot. And you might have even, if you're not a Top Chef, okay, Mike, okay, I see that face. Okay, Mike, chill out. We're going to talk about that in one moment. Even if you aren't a Top Chef fan, if you're a Pod Save America fan, you might recognize his name. He is constantly in their promo codes of like, if you do the Cash App, $5 goes to you, $5 goes to World Central Kitchen, which is Jose Andres' charity. So this guy is like a legit freaking dude. This organization helps so many people. It has such a wide reach. So get in on it. And now, Mike, you don't think Jose Andres is hot. Interesting.
Okay, hold on. Let me refresh myself.
I too will refresh myself.
Yeah, off the top of my head, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, no, I'm sorry, but no. No.
He has a very hot energy. He's like,
okay, yeah, I will say,
chef who does philanthropy.
Here's the context in which I'm like, okay, whoa. Pretend you're at your friend's house and she's like, oh, this is my dad. He's cooking us dinner.
Okay, by that.
And then he comes out with like a big fucking steak or like a turkey or whatever you guys eat and a bunch of sides and delicious cocktails. And he's just regaling you with
food you've ever
the best food you've ever had.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Yeah. I think part of hotness is that like contextual, just like what can you do? But if I'm just going off like Google images, he looks like Fat Mr. Incredible, and it's like not doing it for me.
Okay, whoa.
But yes, being an amazing cook and what?
That sounds hot.
You know what? Different strokes. Okay.
It looks weird in the movies, and I wish he was a little thicker.
Yeah. Okay. If you also wish Mr. Incredible was thicker, drop it in the comments right now. Jordan, by the way, your volume is a little low. I don't know if there's a way for you to raise it or get a little closer to your mic.
Is this louder?
Yeah, that's perfect. And you look great.
Oh, good.
You could also just scream. So anyway, that's our first order of business. Again, Jordan's handle is in the chat. Our second order of business is something we did not tell you, Mike. A little surprise.
Oh no.
Which is much like Top Chef, which it seems like you're a fan of. Like a lot of people come on here and this is the first episode they see. So
no.
Okay, yeah, Mike's a freaking playing around here. So Mike
likes food. Mike's a real
gourmand.
Real kitchen.
A gourmand.
A gourmand.
Yeah.
Well, Mike, then you of all people should be prepared for this. We've got a quick fire for you.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah. So Top Chef does their quick fires a little differently. We do the shortest quick fire in Top Chef history, 45 seconds.
Oh my God. Okay.
So in 40 seconds, you will have 10 questions to answer. And these are not trivia. These are just like personal preference questions and like things you think about food. The prize that's on the line is a deed to the Terlato Wine Vineyard, which is a wine we've only ever heard of on Top Chef. The smallest bottle they sell is 1,000 gallons. So you'll win a deed to that vineyard. And you will also win your own suite of broken Kenmore appliances. So we're truly thrilled to offer these prizes to you today on this beautiful day if you complete your quick fire.
Okay, let's do it.
Are you ready? You will have 45 seconds from the time when
I
know it's okay. From when I complete the first question.
Okay.
Ready? Okay. What is your favorite canned food?
Oh God, why is that so hard? Cannellini beans.
Coconut and clams, yes or no?
No. Wait, yes. Sorry, yes.
Favorite Thanksgiving dish?
Stuffing.
Least favorite Thanksgiving dish?
Green beans.
Can you make a meal in 15 minutes?
Absolutely not.
Do men's rooms smell like ass and cigarettes?
Absolutely.
Would you leave your toothbrush in the kitchen?
No.
Cutting edge food, yes or no?
Yes.
Cranberry foam or nothing at all?
Nothing at all.
Are Reka and Jordan hot?
Yes.
Woo!
Did I do it?
You did!
Yes.
Mike, you are the proud owner of a deed to the Trelato family vineyard. You can get free bottles of Trelato wine ranging from 1,000 gallons to their largest size, globe sized. And you also get your own suite of broken Kenmore appliances.
That is
They're
amazing.
beautiful, but they're broken.
I have functional Kenmore appliances right now, and I've just been dying to get my hands on broken ones. So this means
to be canon to Top Chef, they should not function very well.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And that's beautiful. Wow. Congratulations, Mike. Only a handful of people have completed that on this show.
That was I didn't think I would make it. I got tripped up on canned foods right away.
I know, but
you did really bad up top.
Yeah, I did not have faith in me.
For you. I was like, oh my God.
It's the equivalent of watching someone hem and haw too much over the ingredients in the pantry. And then they don't get to cooking. And then you see the talking heads and they're like, I don't know what Mike was doing. We only had 10 minutes to cook, but he's picking what kind of beans he wants.
In fairness, this had to do with like truthfulness. I didn't want to blurt out like canned beets and be like, I've never had a canned beet in my life. You know what I mean?
No, and I think the viewers sensed that you really meant it when you said cannellini beans. And I appreciate
cannellini beans are good. I just bought canned cannellini beans today.
Yes,
nice.
I love them.
It's a utility bean. It can go in anything.
It really can. I didn't have chickpeas, but I had cannellini beans because a place nearby was selling them like in the pandemic pantry style way. And I just made my chana masala, cannellini masala.
Oh, okay.
Indo-Italian fusion. And it was fine. They're just beans. Great. So let's dive into this real quick fire of this episode, which was make a dish with canned food. Go ahead.
Can I just say it up top that this episode is bad?
Wow. Hot take.
Jordan, I'll say what I've been saying all the time, which is every episode of this season is bad.
Rick absolutely hates this. I thought this episode was bad. I was like, wow, we could have done so much more with the Thanksgiving challenge. And I thought this episode was bad.
I agree. I think it suffers from being dated, and I'd love to see them revisit this challenge because we're skipping ahead to the elimination challenge now, but like saying like make Thanksgiving like nouveau and cutting edge is like we've kind of been doing that for the last 20 years or however long it's been since this episode was on the air. You know what I mean? Like I think you could get more interesting stuff now.
I agree. I think the definition of cutting edge, it reminded me of in season 1, which was hosted by Katie Lee Joel and not Padma Lakshmi. Katie Lee Joel, author of Groundswell, a book about surfing, and ex-wife to Billy Joel. They met in college. These are facts we like to repeat all the time.
And just to be clear, they met when she was in college.
Sorry. Billy Joel wasn't in college and she was 4. Yeah. She was in college and he was 1,000 years old. But in season 1, one of the first challenges is cook with a mystery ingredient. And it's supposed to be something freaky and weird. And it's octopus. And it's kind of like, oh, people cook with this all the time. So I agree. I think also making a dish with canned food, I think that's a cool quick fire. Again, I think you guys are right. Like, I don't think people had enough of the creative drive on this show to really go out of the box on a canned food challenge. Like even just running through some of these dishes, like Mia made a cold salad of garbanzo beans, green beans, artichoke hearts, and mint. We'll run through and give like a thumbs up, thumbs down for.
I'm sorry. We can go back to that right
now. No,
you're thumbs up, thumbs down.
You're fine. We're gonna do a little thumbs up, thumbs down on all these quick fire dishes, and feel free to interject about any of them. So Mia, she did a salad with garbanzo beans, green beans, artichoke hearts, and mint.
Get that shit out of here.
I think it sounds good. I don't think that's impressive to me. To me, that she dumped everything out of the cans.
Yes, exactly.
Not impressive, but I am a little bean queen, and I
love beans.
So it sounds good to me. And Tom and Padma really seem to like.
They really liked it, but I'm like, compared to the other shit that was made, I'm like, I don't know, Mia.
It feels like she went the opposite direction of like most people will try and do too much for the 15-minute or however long they have for that challenge, and she was like, no, mine's gonna take 2 minutes and then I'll be done.
Yeah. And then I'm going to go take a bath. Like, and I normally like Mia, so this is like unusual for her. Because one time I believe she made cornbread in a quick fire. And I'm like, are quick fires 2 hours? How do you do that?
They had one, I think it was in season 2. I think they had one where it was like a 2-hour quick fire. I can't remember what it was though.
You know, I feel like I know what you're talking about. Crap. They always do that when it's a dessert. They're like, you have 7 days. None of us know how much this takes.
Yeah.
So that's what Mia made. Cliff made a potato salad, straw mushrooms, baby corn, and a mandarin orange vinaigrette with anchovies.
I can get behind it.
Great.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that Elia said she spat it out. Betty made lemon hummus, beets, artichokes, green apples, and a sage vinaigrette.
I'm going to give this thumbs up because my first instinct was to make a hummus.
I think that's I thought Betty did the smartest thing where it's like, it's quick, but it's not just the shit as it existed in the can. She made something.
I think the problem with hers, if I were to make a guess about Betty, is that even with you describing it, I'm like, that's too many things, like beets and artichokes and apples and a sage vinaigrette. I'm like, it's just too much. I think if she had simplified and elevated, she could have had a better chance, because I think I agree with y'all. I think her idea was the best one.
I also think they didn't list it and I didn't see one, but it's like, is there pita or something with that? Or are you just kind of like
a spoonful of hummus?
Like a bowl of cereal.
Yeah, yogurt.
It was too confusing.
Yes. So Sam made garbanzo and beet salad, crunchy anchovies, and a lemon Dijon vinaigrette. That sounds good to me. Yeah.
That's a take on a Caesar. You know what I mean?
There you go. Oh, yes. I love that. Marcel made hearts of palm with clams, coconut milk foam, mandarin oranges, and creme fraiche with sherbet. I've never had a clam because I've been a vegetarian forever. That strikes me as 1, too many things, and 2, a lot of like really wet things, and 3, a lot of really strong flavors. But Jordan, you're pro, and Mike, you're against.
Mike, you go.
Jordan, go ahead. Ooh.
You go. You're the guest.
During our quick fire, and you asked about coconut and clam, my instinct was like, no, that's disgusting. And then I really thought about it, and I'm like, if you showed me like a clam chowder made with like coconut milk, I could see it. Or something like a curry, but made with clams instead of, goat or whatever you're making. I'm like, I can get behind that. I think this was a violation of how coconut and clam could be used together. And like, in general, like everything about Marcel pisses me off. Like he has a very punchable face. He has stupid hair. And he's like, why does everyone hate me? It's like, it's pretty obvious. I'm a fan of like that kind of, like Grant Acat's like gastronomique kind of food. I like that stuff, but just like everything about this dish was just like, that sounds so dumb and I don't want to eat it at all.
I love when people, usually it's Gail, when they critique a dish, they're like, it's just stupid. I think that's such a funny critique where it's like, it doesn't make sense. It's just fucking dumb. And so I appreciate that, Mike. But Jordan, 2 things. 1, Jordan, Jason is coming at you in the comments. He said he fucking hates your guts and you need to lean forward because your mic is a little quiet.
Is this better? Can people hear me better when I'm closer?
It is better when you're closer. And Mike, in case you're not looking at the chat, I'm lying. Jason's extremely nice and he's not treating Jordan now.
The sweetest. Okay. And
I wanted to make Jordan feel bad.
Rika is trying to start drama per usual. She's like one of the Real Housewives. She's always drama.
Oh my God, Jason, what the fuck did you say about Jordan? Sorry, he's private messaging me.
The drama is sick, Rika. I think all the ingredients sound really good, and hearts of palm is one of my favorite foods.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yum, hearts of palm. But I don't like Marcel either, and I think the dish probably was bad. I have a technical question. Where's the mic on my computer?
So granted that I can't see your computer because you are on it.
Rika, you've seen it. You know what it looks like.
Do you want to do a little sound test where you scream maybe a funny word at different points of your computer and we see where it sounds best?
Pickle?
Good.
Okay.
Pickle?
Bad.
Pickle?
Okay.
Pickle?
It's okay.
Pickle? Rika, help!
funny if your audio is actually fine this whole time.
Oh my God, that would be so rude. Okay, pickle? Is this good pickle?
I like it there. What do you think, Mike?
It's honestly hard to tell what the placement of the mic is because I think the like software is like compensating for wherever you are.
It's like omnidirectional a little bit.
It's like when the doctor's like, or the optometrist is like, which one's better, 1 or 2? And you're like, buddy, they're the exact same. Like, I can't.
Yeah. What about that? Do we like that?
It's a little muffled, but it's fine. It's better than.
Oh my God. Okay. I got to figure this out. I'm sorry. I'll have it figured out for next week.
You're good right here because you're kind of close.
I feel like I'm being punked, but we have to move forward. I love Hearts of Palm. So I'll give it a thumbs up because I would try for Hearts of Palm, but on to the next one.
If anyone wants to like clip out just that section and eliminate any of my dialogue, so it is just a weird, bizarre 40-second clip of Jordan saying,
Pickle?
Yeah. Wait, pickle? Okay, how about pickle? Okay, wait,
What I
check me out.
understand, that's ASMR and people pay a lot of money.
That was incredible. Okay, so yes, great. Elon made a spinach and cannellini bean salad with roasted potatoes and roasted Vienna sausages. Oh my God, and Mike's a cannellini boy. Okay, what about you, Jordan?
Again, I was still thinking about pickle, honestly. Say it again. I'm so sorry.
Spinach and cannellini bean salad, roasted potatoes, and roasted Vienna sausages.
Sure. Oh, this looked good. The little sausages looked crispy.
Yes.
I think that's what gets me is I'm not a big Vienna sausage person. I feel like if you're gonna serve me like a potato and Vienna sausage dish, it should be like a greasy 2 a.m. like smothered in sauce kind of food and not like a salad. You know what I mean?
Sure. I think
Okay.
I do wonder about the dryness because it's like beans, potatoes, sausages, like what's the sauce? What's the thing that like marries everything? Maybe they
What I
didn't.
will tell you, they're using those canned baby new potatoes that I used to eat all the time when I was a child. They're unbelievably wet and soft. I don't know if that changes anyone's perception of anything going on, but canned baby new potatoes, unbelievably wet and soft.
That doesn't change anything for me. That's probably the two descriptors that describe the food I eat the most.
Well, no, but you're saying it seems really dry. So
Oh,
like,
I see.
They're
Okay.
very wet, you know. Rick and I think fighting.
Yeah, I hate when we fight. Okay. Pickle. We truce.
Oh, pickle. Pickle. Oh, yes. Pickle.
Okay, perfect. Elia made a fruit salad and then a totally independent dish, beef hash with celery, red pepper, kidney beans, and mint. Here's where I stand. And I don't know if this is bias and this is like a cultural issue with me. Like ambrosia salad doesn't strike my fancy, and anything that looks like it doesn't strike my fancy. So immediately that put me off. I am also very much a Top Chef purist in the sense I'm like, just make one dish. Don't make two things if they can't be eaten together or they're not supposed to complement each other. But I realize I might have a cultural lapse there. So I'm kind of
very sweet, Reka, being respectful of my white trash Southern roots, not wanting to say anything bad about ambrosia salad. I'll say it. I don't like ambrosia salad. I think it's bad. And if I go to a picnic or a family gathering, I'm not going to eat it. And I'll say it. I think Ellie is an excuse caboose. I think she loves to make up reasons why things aren't good. Everything else is always someone's fault. Mike, we'll tell you this. Tom Colicchio has been quoted saying that Elia is the most difficult personality they've ever had on the show.
Wait, when was that?
Which reads
in 2020.
Wow.
And it becomes more apparent as it goes on. It's just like nothing is ever her fault. She has an issue with everything. And I think her being like, she was like, even in the start, she was like, we don't have Thanksgiving. So and it's like, yeah, that's fine. You don't need to recreate a normal Thanksgiving dish. That's actually what they're explicitly asking you not to do. And then in this challenge, she was like, well, this is how my family does it. It eats it together. And I'm like, okay, that's great. You are on a professional cooking competition.
And I'm very sympathetic to like, because again, I don't want to knock anything like that I'm just not familiar with. Because like you've seen my plates of food. They're all like fucking piles of food that I mix everything together. Even Indian people are like, my grandmother will make fun of me because she's like, why are you mixing all of the curries into like one fucking mass? And it's like, because it tastes good. Every curry's got something to say, and I want it all in my mouth at the same time. And Jason in the comments saying ambrosia is not good. Yes, Jason.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
Okay, I want to come back to what you were saying.
Yes,
but I just want to say, I think I had the opposite, equal and opposite reaction that you did, because Filipinos do have a version of ambrosia called buko, and it's when I was a kid, it was like one of my favorites. So I saw that and I was like, oh, I can get behind that. And I also agree that like dual preparations in general is like a Top Chef no-no. Like the fact that like in 2020 people are still going out with like salmon 2 ways. It's like, buddy, have you not watched the show?
Yes.
So I think I think the judge's response on her dish this time was like, these are two okay dishes, but they don't go well together, which I think is like, it's really like a thumb in the middle kind of thing.
That's where I like, because I'm like, I don't doubt that there's a version of, I eat plenty of weird pairings of stuff together. It is so relative. Like on the Great British Bake Off, one of my absolute biggest pet peeves is when Paul Hollywood speaks, because everything he says is so outraged. He's like, peanut butter and jelly? All right. And he absolutely has never eaten an Asian flavor in his life. Anytime someone uses matcha, he's like, matcha tastes like grass. I'm like, eat my whole asshole. Matcha is my favorite food. But yeah, I don't doubt it could taste good together, but it didn't seem to.
Yes, and I want to say that I'm not saying what she made was wrong or bad.
Yeah.
I think it's like everybody eats a bunch of shit just piled together and it all tastes good. But when you were on a cooking competition and you get a criticism for her to be like, well, that's why I do it. I think that's kind of her whole attitude throughout the show. And it's like,
yeah, if that was an isolated incident, that's like one thing. But Elia's whole thing is very like, I don't know why he did this, but I don't agree. But I take criticism. I can take criticism, but I never do.
Yeah, and then she like is like dogging on everyone else's dish. I'm like, when did she try Cliff's full dish?
Yeah.
I spat it out. It was the most disgusting thing I've ever eaten.
I'm like, when did that happen?
Yes. Next up was Carlos. He made a pasta puttanesca with capers, peas, and deviled ham. I thought this looked great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was another really smart use. The way sometimes when people get into challenges on Top Chef where they're like, you have 74 stupid ingredients, and they're like, I'll make soup. He made like a sauce, which I thought was pretty smart.
Yeah.
Frank made a fruit and coconut salad with blueberry yogurt cream. I gotta give this a thumbs down. And that sounds like something I probably eat. Again, I just think not on Top Chef. Like, there's stuff that I don't even serve my friends that I eat because I'm like, nah, this is probably too stupid. To me, this strikes me as stupid. Yeah. And he served it in a martini glass.
Yeah, double no.
I don't like that. Yeah, I don't like that at all.
And I also don't understand, like it all, I love soft on soft on soft on soft. This sounds like soft on fucking soft on sweet on soft on cream. Or absolutely no.
But they liked it.
They liked it. So I'm like, what the fuck do I, maybe I'm a dumbass and I'm like, I'll be horking down this fucking martini. And then finally, Mikey made bacon wrapped corn and mashed potatoes, chili, and chives. That sounded good to me.
Yeah.
Ooh, Mike, go.
It's I think it's that same thing where it's just like, it sounds fine, not on Top Chef, a little basic, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. I think that makes this dish. I thought it was funny that the contestants specifically pointed out, like, Mikey's really pulling out all the stops. I'm like, I would eat this dish. I think the chili comes made in the can.
Yes, the chili confused me. I was like, what? We don't need the chili on this dish.
Yes, he made mashed potatoes. I mean, I guess if he's using new potatoes, they're already pretty softened, and he's just heating, mashing, adding butter and salt and stuff.
I also want to ask a question, Rika. So when you say stupid, like it's so stupid you wouldn't serve it to someone else, what I imagine you mean is like, for example, sometimes when I'm home alone, I'll make a sandwich that's a piece of untoasted bread from the fridge, a thick slice of cheese, and then a lot of yellow mustard. And that's not something I would ever serve to someone else, but sometimes when I'm alone, I want a little cheese and mustard sandwich.
Yeah.
but I know that's not acceptable to serve to other people. Is that what you mean by stupid? We're having some questions about that.
Kind of, yeah. People are asking what I mean when I eat stupid food. Okay, here's an instance of a stupid thing I eat. Okay, well, firstly, we all know the type of bananas I eat.
Disgusting.
I'm not gonna, Mike,
No.
Mike,
Oh,
I'll send you the banana that I'm talking about. It's pretty interesting looking. I'll eat that. I'll slide this gross banana into a bowl and I'll eat that. And I'll put like a little peanut butter or a little flake salt or a little chocolate chips or something. I'm never going to invite someone over and be like, do you want dessert? Or you want a little snack? Here's like the oldest banana I have.
Yeah.
And I put salt on it. I'm never going to do that. I will make it into banana bread and feed it to you. And I probably have. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Oh, like I like doing like peanut butter and maple syrup on like a waffle and stuff. And I think it is good. I think some people are like, but I'm a big peanut butter girl. So I don't know. To me, anything with peanut butter is good.
That sounds great. That sounds like
in the comments saying that Rika's bananas are disgusting. And
okay, actually, I'm seeing a lot of love. Maybe you're just getting those. I'm seeing, whoa, Rika's bananas are revolutionary. Rika's bananas made me believe I could cook.
Rika will be like, I have capers in my refrigerator from 12 years ago. I moved them to LA from New York with me. Can I still use them? I'm like,
okay, Jordan, that's a lie. I would never ask if I could still use them. I would just use them.
Rika will just use them and then tell me about it later.
Are you two both like lax on like food safety stuff like that?
Yeah, absolutely.
I feel like as I've gotten older, I've gotten more and more paranoid. Now I get pretty strict now about just like, no, the chicken's 2 days old. There's no way it can be good.
Well, that's one thing I'll say is Rika and I don't really eat meat. Rika is vegan and I don't really eat meat at home. I don't cook meat. I'm pretty, I really only eat like fried chicken, like maybe twice a month.
Sure.
But so I think with meat, I would feel more that way about it, or even dairy, but we don't eat a lot of that. So Rika and I will kind of just eat anything as long as it's been around. But I also think you're much fancier than Rika and I, and probably have a higher quality of living in general.
Now I do, thanks to NBC, thanks to Mr. Mayor coming to NBC.
I've been in your apartment. Mike's apartment feels like a Pottery Barn catalog. It's
Thank you so much. That's the old one. I just moved. This is a new apartment.
So it's probably even nicer.
It's even nicer. It's the only way to
do
it.
Mike, do you like peanut butter and chunky or creamy if you do?
Love peanut butter depends on the context.
Whoa.
Yeah.
What's a context you don't like?
What if the context is no?
If I wanted like a spoonful right now, I would go crunchy because you want a little bit of texture. I don't want to feel like a dog lapping up peanut butter. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I get that.
Like spreading, we're going smooth, you know?
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I can put any type of peanut butter in my mouth except the one I bought right before this, which did take me months to complete. The story I wanted to complete is that in 2016, my mom and I went to an Indian store and we bought a bag of turmeric. And if anyone's bought spices in an Indian store, you know they come for like 7 pounds for $1. And you don't need to be buying spices at white supermarkets because it's way more expensive. I just finished this turmeric yesterday.
Wow. Bravo.
4 years. I did ship that when I moved from New York to LA.
It probably tastes like baking powder at this point. Just
no. Everything. Here's my philosophy. And Ratatouille, the cookbook is called Anyone Can Cook. My cookbook would be called You Can Eat Anything.
I love
Perfect. Okay, great. So moving on.
Have we played that game before? Have we played What Would Your Cookbook Be Called? Jordan, do you have a title?
Ooh.
Oh my God, no, but I love, okay, wait, Rika, is that your real one or do you need a second to think of a real one?
Okay, it would either be called You Can Eat Anything or Anything Can Be Curry. All leftovers are food. It's all the same concept.
Yeah. I think mine would be, and this is absolutely sick, and I don't want to hear a dang thing about it, but I think I would have to call my cookbook Improvise.
Gross.
Wait, actually, I'm getting where Jordan's cookbook is called the UCB Improv Training Manual, and her second cookbook is called How to Be the Best Improviser in the World.
Okay. Yes. Will Hines do the foreword for my cookbook? Absolutely. Will Kevin Hines write the thing on the back cover? No, I don't know. It would be called like improvise or like
Yes.
maybe it would be called stuff.
Okay. I like that.
The whole concept of it would be, this is so sick because it's totally separate from the fact that I'm an improviser, but the whole concept behind it would be using whatever you have, because that's what I find really titillating, of just like taking anything and everything you have
Absolutely.
and turning it into a meal and not needing to. So it would be a lot of things of like, here are a bunch of different edits you could do to this. Like
each recipe would be like a chopped box, basically.
Exactly. So I'd be like, I'd use capers, but if you don't have capers, here's 4 other options of things you could potentially use. Like, you know, a thing that I feel like would be helpful, because sometimes like if you're using like an ottolenghi cookbook, it's like, get 1 teaspoon of chervil, and it's like, no, I'm not going to do that, you know? So
I'll use salt. Yeah.
That would be my cookbook, I think.
What about you, Mike?
I just want to say this. Over the quarantine, I forget if it's on the Milk Bar account or if it's on Christina Tosi's account, but they've been doing these like Bake Club tutorials, and they do a lot of that where it's just like, look, here's how you make the recipe with what we're having. But if you don't have it, just use whatever's in your pantry. You know, we don't really care what goes in. It's just going to be good.
I truly love that. And I know some people get turned off of baking because it's a less easy to do that. It's a little more of a science. Yes. But also, that's my thing. It's probably going to be edible unless you deviate entirely in like 2 cups of flour. How about 7? You know, it will be edible. It might not be like the perfect crumb or whatever. Like one time, and I'll shut up and I promise, I made a pistachio cake, a sheet cake, and it was a little drier than I would like because it was vegan. I adapted a regular recipe to be vegan. So then I made like a 3-layer pistachio cake that was incredible. And then I had leftover scraps because I made it from like circle mounds. I tried to do a naked cake like Christina Tosi. And I was like, well, stale bread, you make bread pudding. So I'll make pistachio cake bread pudding.
Pistachio cake bread pudding.
And I chopped it all up into little cubes. I made like a pistachio, I like ground up pistachios and made like a pistachio milk to soak it in with like a little vegan butter. And then I had pistachio butter and some honey and like pomegranate. It was incredible.
It sounds incredible.
I fucking roll.
Sounds great.
Yeah. What are we talking about? Okay. The elimination challenge. Sorry. The winners of this quickfire were the winner was Sam, and then Mia, and then Cliff, and then Elon and Frank, which I thought was crazy. And then the bottom was Mike, Marcel, Elia, Carlos, and Betty. So the way this shook out was that the winners don't have to cook. The losers have to cook in the next challenge.
Mm-hmm. And I hate that.
I think that's dumb.
It feels like a waste of my time. I'm just like, I don't care. This feels stupid. It was irritating to me.
Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
I was gonna say, I do like that at least they took food to the food bank in LA, which it like if it had been like you got the day off and they got massages, it would have been like, fuck you. But it was like they went and did something.
You know? Yeah, yes, that's true. So the challenge for the 5 people who did not win the quickfire is to make a cutting edge Thanksgiving dinner that'll be served to the regular judges, Anthony Bourdain, and the 5 winning quickfire chefs. What do we think of this challenge?
I like the challenge. I thought the execution was bad. I thought it was so like, I don't know. And Mike said it earlier, and we talk about it all the time, but I think in these first couple seasons, when someone says cutting edge, they're like, oh, we put a foam on it or whatever. Like it's so faux cutting edge. Yeah. And I would have loved to see something that I think is more thoughtful. And you know what I will say, as much as I've talked about Mike this entire season, because I think he's been annoying.
Mike.
Well, me? What did I do?
No, whole season we've been talking shit about you on this
leading up to this episode.
Yeah. No, Mike has sucked.
Yeah, I agree.
And he's been really annoying. But I think his idea of like a turducken lasagna, I'm like, that's cool. That feels something that feels different. It also is like his whole thing is comfort food, and kind of like he's kind of like a sloppy, messy dude. I'm like, yeah, make a really tasty like turducken lasagna with like kale in it and maybe like a bechamel sauce or an Alfredo. I'm like, why making a mushroom soup? I'm like, what world are we in?
Yeah, I think that was one of the only worthwhile ideas I've heard Michael have. Oh, I have an echo now. That's fun.
Ooh.
Michael's very much strikes me as like the best chef at his college dorm. You know what I mean? Like he very much radiates like alcoholic mediocre at the same time. Like he has bloated alcoholic face. He always is kind of like staring off center. And that's like, I think I'm inclined to dislike his food because it's all just like kind of phoned in TGI Fridays. It's like, it's mashed potatoes. And I'm like, okay, sure. But I agree that like
the version of mashed potatoes, make like perfect,
exactly.
chefy, like Chris Scott from Colorado, Top Chef Colorado was on a few episodes ago. And thank you, Mike.
Did he give you the biscuit recipe? Because
brown sugar biscuit recipe? No, but I told him I fucking shat myself when I ate them because I ate at Butterfunk. He is opening a biscuit restaurant in near Columbia in New York.
Oh,
I know.
Who knows when we can fly again?
And I think he's coming out with a cookbook. Right? Yes.
He is. Let me read you the title of it. He just.
It's called Stuff. Uh-oh.
No. Reika and I will be buying this cookbook the second it comes out because you guys know we're infatuated with Chef Chris. It's called Homage.
I love that.
What do we have a release date on that? Can we get it in time for the holidays?
Ooh,
I
think it doesn't come out till next year.
But here's y'all should all follow the Instagram for
Homage cookbook. Okay, we love that.
It's gonna be like we're really excited about it.
He's the one that pointed out because he was watching an episode from this season. He was like, tens of thousands of people auditioned to be on this show because he was a little flustered at Mike's attitude on the show. And I'm like, that's a great point. Even at this early stage, I'm sure now it's even more popular. You're one of the best chefs in the country, ostensibly. Like, how does the best chef in the country make mashed potatoes? I would love to see that. I do have now because Mike, you mentioned Buco Pandan, or you mentioned just Buco, right? Earlier. I know I have a tab of it open and I'm like, I want to eat it. Okay, great. So this is the challenge. They made underwhelming things. Let's see. The argument of the pepper shaker. I just hate all the drama this season. It's so fucking annoying to watch.
I'll say, watching this season when I was probably in, middle school maybe when this came out. I can't remember exactly when it came out. But I'm like, I used to hate Marcel and be so team Betty. And Marcel is annoying, but now watching it, I'm like, what is wrong with Betty? Betty is like,
I think she's a bully, and I think Marcel is annoying. I think both of those things coexist.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. But I remember I hating Marcel and loving Betty. And now I'm like, I don't really like either one of you.
Yeah, I think that's accurate.
Betty was really bothering me this episode. Again, it's similar to a previous episode in the season where I'm like, did they cut stuff out? Marcel is annoying, but she fucking goes off on him. And she'll like, out of nowhere, someone could be like, how are you? And she's like, well, I would want Marcel to die. And it's like, huh? Yeah.
It's really only like at this point in the season, because I watched the first 5 episodes leading into this one to have some context. And at first, Betty kind of emerges as like a front runner. I'm like, oh, I kind of like when she wins like the knife set. It's like, I like this woman. And it's really only the last like episode or two where I'm just like, wait, hold on. Why is she terrible all of a sudden?
True.
A bully is such a perfect way to describe it, Reika, because that's exactly what it is. She acts like such a high school bully.
Yes. And Marcel is a high school annoying as shit kid. Wow, a match made in hell. So other little things. Mia, I thought was really, she mentioned being excited for the challenge because she used to be unhoused, and it's very sweet to her talk about it. I guess we don't have time to hear her say more than one sentence in this episode, so I guess fuck me. We move right along. They're assigned the kitchens in each other's like rooms or whatever. So some people cook in the boys' suite or whatever, and some people cook in the women's suite. And when Mike and Marcel walk into the men's suite. They're like, ew, it smells like ass and cigarettes in here. And then there's just toiletries everywhere. And to me, I thought, speaking of overreactions, to me, if you are keeping your toothbrush and all this shit in a kitchen, I get that you couldn't prepare. Maybe you didn't know the challenge was going to happen in your kitchen. But if someone was like, if I agreed to be on Top Chef and I am not staying in my own house and someone's like, the boys are going to come in and use your kitchen. I mean, unless I got like fucking dirty underwear all over it, like, I don't know. I'm like, yeah, I expect you to have to move shit around.
Yeah. Also, why is your toothbrush in the kitchen? If your toothbrush is in the kitchen, you don't care that much. Saying that as someone who's left their toothbrush in the kitchen before, you know what I mean?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think like in my home, I wouldn't keep my toothbrush anywhere other than right next to the sink in the bathroom. But I think in the context of like, you're being forced to live in a house with like 10 other people, it like, you know, maybe you need to brush your teeth at the same time as someone, all the bathrooms are taken, you brush it in the kitchen.
And I know I assumed he also brushed his teeth in the sink. I don't know if Marcel took his toothbrush and was like, let me put this on the floor, so much as it was in an open toiletry bag. Yeah. Should Marcel have closed it? Sure. Again, I think you have a full right to be like, hey, dude, can you not like be so haphazard with my stuff? But to do what he did, I'm like, that is fucking bullying. That is so scary.
Yes, I also thought it was really funny how Marcel was like, yeah, I took all that shit, I threw that shit on the floor. I put that shit right on the floor. Like, he's like being really hard. And then when Frank comes in, Marcel's like, yeah, I just set your bag down over there. Like, I'm like, okay, it's not a big deal either way, but like, are you tough or are you not tough? And just like decide, either one's fine.
It's that thing again of like, it's both. It's like, I think Frank is grossly overreacting, but again, Marcel is such a smug bastard that it's like easy to pick on him. You know what I mean?
Yes. I think, and for those people in the audience who didn't watch the episode, Frank basically is, you know, they cook in his kitchen, and so they had to move his toiletries and stuff around to use the kitchen that smelled like ass, and his toiletries end up on the floor, including his toothbrush. And Frank finds out, and he goes up to Marcel and says, don't touch my shit again, or I will beat you so hard your mother won't even recognize you.
That's borderline a felony.
I was like,
I'm surprised they didn't kick him off the show for this.
That is like so unnecessarily violent.
Yeah.
It's if you have seen this season, more to come.
I have not seen this season. This is my first time watching this season.
It's the worst.
Oh, you might want to keep watching this season, honestly, because
I can't wait.
Stuff, it's the weirdest season.
It's just the worst mix of like, even if each person, I believe these people have grown and changed since this.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of them are really young too. Like,
yeah, they're like 23 or
23, 24. So I totally.
And I'll speak from personal experience. A lot of them are from Las Vegas, my hometown, and not a high quality of person coming from that city in general.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Wow, I always forget that Mike is from Las Vegas.
I didn't know that. That's so interesting. I had a friend who's from Las Vegas, and her graduating class was 4 people.
That's wild.
Honestly, yes. What else did I write? Oh, this weird Elia scene. Elia's like, we've already sort of elaborated on this, but she's not into this challenge at all. And she kind of complains the whole way through. And she's like so appalled by the judge's decision in the quickfire because she thinks all the choices they made were gross, blah, 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 blah. So she's just going to make a mushroom soup. She's whisking chocolate around for Betty's dessert, and she licks it and sticks her fingers in the bowl. I'm like, I hope that's not the chocolate you're using.
Yeah. It's all very weird. I'm also just like, I have a problem with a lot of the people on this show where I'm like, I know, especially in season 2, we're early on, but I'm like, what did you think this one was going to be? You know what I mean? They like act like, well, I only cook fine dining, or like, well, this is a hard challenge. It's like, yeah, it is a cooking competition.
And granted, it's only the 2nd season, but it is like, I guess to me, maybe I'm a little weenie. But if I'm entering someone else's turf, and the turf is game show, and someone's like, do something, I'm not like, what? Do something? But it's not what I normally do.
Yeah, I think that there is a little bit of to me, like Top Chef over time has developed his voice as like the best of the best, because then like after a few years, MasterChef comes in and they're like, we're for the amateurs. We're gonna find the best home cooks in America. And Top Chef was able to distinguish themselves just like, no, we're gonna find the best of the best. Like even in this season, half the people from the beginning, it's like line cook, room service cook, and it's like
so cool.
It's just it's cool. It's different. It's not the same as saying like head chef at this place, head chef this place, James Beard, Michelin star. You know what I mean? And so I think it's a little bit of that where it's just like some of these people, and in the context of like you're also going to be living together, so it's a little bit more of like a reality show than a competition show. So I think maybe it is hard in season 2 to go in with any sort of expectations. Like it's a competition, you want to do the best you can, and yeah, I agree. You shouldn't be like, I'm not going to do the competition, but it is like. I think their expectations might have just been like out of whack with what the show ended up being.
Totally. Sure. I think that's totally right on the money. And you can see it later on, like the show finds its footing a bit more. So yeah, that was all the pre-dish stuff I wrote down. I don't know if anyone else pulled out any fun moments. Oh yeah, Ellie rubbed chocolate over her face. Looked like she put shit all over her face. I guess that's fun. Yeah, and I guess that is the last of the interesting things. So let's move on to these dishes in order. So Michael, no idea, made a turkey and egg toast canapé.
Which everyone seemed to like.
That sounds great to me. Yeah.
I'm here for it.
I'm kind of like, what if he had only made that? I know that's not a course, but for what ended up happening, we'll see.
Can I tell you?
Go ahead.
I saw that dish and like in my head, I was like, oh, were I to have the skill set of a professional chef. I think those core flavor ideas are really good because he was like, there's egg and toast and turkey. And my first thought was like, make a Thanksgiving Scotch egg. It's an egg, but it's turkey meat. And then you can bread it in like a cornbread stuffing or a cornmeal, deep fry it. Like, that's a dish done. And that's your Thanksgiving cutting edge.
A cornbread. Oh my God, that sounds so good.
Or the other version is, again, we have the hindsight is 2020 here, but like speaking of Christina Tosi, Milk Bar's Thanksgiving croissant, which has been a tradition of mine for like almost 10 years now, but that's like one of my favorite Thanksgiving things that if anyone there had done a Thanksgiving pastry of some sort, it would have been a home run.
I totally agree. The opposite of pastry, Carlos's first course was a salad with chipotle peppers, queso fresco, pumpkin seeds, and a butternut squash dressing.
This sounds good to me. People were hating on this. I'm sorry. Maybe it didn't taste good, but this sounds good to me.
I think it sounds good. I think it's not over 4 hours because they had a prep day.
Bingo.
Elia made a mushroom soup.
Oh yeah, she's gonna get a thumbs up for the same reason.
I just am like, I don't think anyone, you know what I mean? I'm at least like, okay, he's using flavors that aren't like traditional, like Thanksgiving flavors. That felt a little different to me in a way that some of the other stuff didn't, but I
think for me, I'm like, I probably have made this salad. I ate something similar for lunch. And it's like cutting edge again is like what I'm thinking. I'm like, it's not really cutting edge. I guess he thinks it is because it's like putting butternut squash in a salad. I don't know. Alia makes a second course. She makes a portobello mushroom soup with walnuts and chives. Same assessment. I'm like, that sounds really good. It's not 4 hours of stuff, 4+ hours.
It's certainly more than a salad.
Yes, it is for sure. I saw her sauteing 7 mushrooms in a pan. Marcel makes a turkey roulade, and the outside is the breast meat. Then the next layer is a thigh meat, and then there's stuffing on the inside with a side of cranberry gelée. 35 pounds of cranberry gelée and a cranberry foam on top.
I hesitate to say this sounds good. Yeah.
This sounds great. The amount of cranberry gelée, which looks disgusting to me, so much. That looks like a whole can.
Yeah.
Wait.
I think this is a really good example of just like, again, I'd like to see this challenge done this year because turkey, we were looking at doing takeout Thanksgiving this year. And so all the restaurants are doing their version of turkey, and turkey roulade was literally on the menu at one of the restaurants we looked at. And I don't remember what restaurant, but I remember seeing it. And it's like, it wasn't that expensive compared to everyone. It wasn't like super fancy. It was just like another preparation of turkey. So it's like the fact that that was like his cutting edge thing 15, 20 years ago. And everyone's like, yeah, he took the assignment seriously, is like, we've kind of come further as a culinary world. You know what I mean?
Oh, if you tried to pull some of this shit on the show now, they'd be like, get the fuck out of here. Tom would do one of his talking tos.
Yeah, you'd get a spanking from Daddy Tom for sure.
Yeah, people don't know this, but in the later seasons, Tom gives you a big fat spank. Next dish, Michael did the fourth course, and he makes a twice baked potato with shrimp and parsnips, mashed potatoes, and then corn with Parmesan.
Okay, so I need to point out the most insane sentence that's ever been said in the history of Top Chef. Mike walks into the room and goes, I didn't know how you liked your potatoes, so I did some with shrimp. Which is the craziest thing I've ever heard anyone say. And shrimp is my favorite food, as some people might know on this show. But that sentence, I didn't know how you liked your potatoes, so I did some with shrimp, as if someone's preferred potato preparation topped with shrimp.
I don't know how you like your peanut butter, so I put shrimp in it. I didn't know.
It's just like, what? This isn't like gumbo. Like, what are you talking about?
What do you mean, Jordan? The potatoes, it's like mashed French fries with shrimp.
It's so crazy. That being said, I would eat this because I love shrimp.
I think this sounded fine. I do think the way the mashed potatoes looked, that little like poop turret, I'm not into. But whatever. And I agree, corn with Parmesan in it. I'm like, I don't know.
It's the same assessment of it's all of Michael's food, which is like it sounds good, but not on this show.
Yeah. Totally. Okay, and then we have Betty with the fifth course, a chai pumpkin creme brulee, so that's one dessert, a duo of creme brulees, and then a chocolate hazelnut cream creme brulee, and a shot of coffee with vanilla whipped cream. So this all sounds great.
It sounds great.
The idea, Jordan hates all fall chai pumpkin flavors.
Wow.
I also hate coffee. So this really is a miss for me on many things, but I get it.
Sure.
The idea when they said, because like I've had pumpkin desserts that end up just being like, it tastes like pumpkin pie filling or whatever. That I was like, oh, that already texturally like really turned me off. And then the her blaming other people brulee. I was like, listen, there ain't too many ways to brulee that shit. It's something wrong with your recipe. What are you fucking talking about?
And Tom called her out on it. He goes like, it wasn't that it wasn't burnt on top. It's that you gave us pumpkin pie filling, and that's not what creme brulee is.
Yeah, what the fuck? That was so stupid.
What is creme brulee? Because Tom is like, you can't just make something and then put sugar on top of it and then brulee that sugar and call it creme brulee. And I'm like, wait, I do think that's what creme brulee is. And I know that creme brulee is typically a custard.
Yes.
That's what it is.
Okay.
But pumpkin pie filling is not a custard. It's not creamy. It's just
I know. But honestly, if somebody gave me a twice baked potato with shrimp on top of it, and then they put sugar on it and set that on fire, and they told me it was the twice baked shrimp potato brulee, I'd be like, yeah.
The thing is, it would have been so easy to execute that idea. It's very, I mean, not that I could do it, but I feel like it would be very easy to just make a custard that's flavored like pumpkin instead of making a texturally different substance.
100%. You even pumpkin filling, if you took a scoop of pumpkin filling, it probably doesn't taste what you like pumpkin to taste like. It tastes like a vegetable. It's the spices and the sugar and all that stuff that makes it taste like pumpkin pie or whatever. So just put that in your custard.
Okay. Agreed. I see. Yeah, I see. You guys are right.
Thank you. That being said, this also sounds like way too much sugar, and people need to stop doing duos. Michael makes a 6th course. It's a cheese plate that was applewood cheddar, Gouda, Port Salut, Parmesan, and Brie. To which I wrote, did he cook anything on this? Because normally
these cheeses don't make sense together.
Yes. Normally like a cheese plate is almost like a misnomer because there is some artistry to it. It's like, well, I made this jelly, I made these toast points. Like I didn't make the cheese, but I did something to it to exalt it, to enhance it. This is not that. This is just cheese.
Very weird.
5 random cheeses after your extremely heavy, disgusting dessert.
Very on brand for Michael. I was like, of course, this is the guy who's just going to cut cheese, put it on a plate, and be like, I made a cheese plate.
He cut cheese, he farted on the plate. We always joke, Jordan, that's what people think a dessert is on this show. They're like, I farted on a plate and put strawberry sauce on it. Is that a dessert? Okay, great. I will say in these last 2 seasons, they have much more familiarity with making a dessert, even if they fuck it up, than in any season after this. They're so blindsided when someone asks them to make a dessert from like season 4 beyond.
So the way I watch the show is I started most recent, work my way backwards a few seasons, and then this is my first time going back to like
the beginning.
And it was my first time seeing like a pastry chef in the competition. I was like, oh, they don't do that nowadays.
Never. I don't think
ever.
Or if you did, she'd be like, I was a pastry chef and then I fucking got my shit together and became a chef.
Yeah.
And they'd be really annoying and be like, I love numbers and measurements. Okay, so now we go to the judges table. I think they were overly harsh on like Michael's dishes, even though he's boring. I think other people fucked up harder. I think Betty was super, super annoying. Elia wins truly by default.
Yes.
She had the only thing that tasted like food.
Yeah.
And then Carlos got eliminated. And they did the thing again that I hate, where Tom, to start drama, asks, who do you think should go home? I hate that. Anytime they do that. And then hearing when Carlos said Betty, and then first Betty had no idea who she was going to say. Mm-hmm. Then Tom asked Carlos, and Carlos was like, I think Betty. And then Betty's like, Carlos. I say Carlos. I was like,
yeah, that was so wild. That made my skin crawl, honestly, that moment.
Yes, it was horrible. And that was the episode. So
wow.
What's the overall feeling? Do we hate? Do we love? Yeah, you're clapping. Is it a good clap, a bad clap?
I was clapping for us for making it through that entire thing. I don't know. It's weird to say good or bad because again, this like my frame of reference is all newer seasons.
Yeah.
And this is my first time seeing the old stuff in it. You know, there's like aspects of the competition itself that like have not aged well. But I don't have enough context to know whether I think it's a good episode or a bad episode. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a bad episode, I'll say it. And I've defended this season. Reika's always talking trash about this season, and I've defended it because I think the finale is good. I like when they go to Hawaii, but I think this episode is really bad. I think it's so bizarre that the 5 winners don't cook. I thought, which this is what they tend to do like in later seasons, but I thought it was going to be the 5 people that won are one team, and the 5 people that won are one team, which like makes sense to me.
Or that they were captains or like something.
Yes. And as I was watching it, I kept waiting for that to happen. And then the episode ended. And I was like, oh, wait, that's right. The winners aren't cooking. It just felt kind of like a missed opportunity to me. It was boring. I don't want to watch the worst people on the show cook and the best people not cook. It just didn't make sense to me. And everything was boring. I think Betty has a really hard time getting to this point of the show because I think she really thrives in some of the bigger challenge because she does have so much catering and restaurant experience, which I think is great. Mm-hmm. But when it gets to a certain point of like elevating, I still think she's coming at it from this angle of being like, yeah, but what can we churn out fast?
Yeah.
And it's like, I get that, but like you're serving Anthony Bourdain and the judges.
Yeah.
There has to be like a little more thought put into it than that.
Yes. Yeah. And speaking of which, Mike, you kind of answered this question, but we'll give you time to go back. A thing we always like to ask is what would you have cooked for this challenge? You gave us that Scotch egg for like an amuse-bouche or appetizer type situation. You're welcome to use that, but you're also welcome to pick whatever course you want.
I thought of 2 others.
Yes.
And I'm not super creative, so I did not think of these on my own, but they are riffs on what other people did. Because like, especially in this episode, it was so easy to be like, you have kernels of a good idea, but there's a better way to do this. Creme brulee, like Tom said, he's like, we've seen 1,000 creme brulees. And I was like, I think it'd be at least a little fun in this context to do a savory one. You could do a turkey flavored creme brulee. You know what I mean? There are savory custards. The Chinese have been doing egg custards forever.
Even a fucking mushroom custard, like a Taiwan mushi or something.
Exactly.
Elliot could have done something like that.
Yeah.
That's genius.
So easy. It's such a small adjustment to the stuff they were already doing. I'm like, what? It's right there. You know what I mean?
This show does not have a history of knowing what Asian food is. So I'll say that.
Very
okay. And then the last one I came up with was, instead of just doing mushroom soup, there's a great restaurant here in LA called Alimento, and one of their signature dishes is the brodo and tortellini. So traditionally, tortellini and brodo is you take tortellini, you put it in a broth, and then at Alimento they flip it, so it's 5 very fat tortellini, but the broth is inside, so it's like a soup dumpling. You bite into it, the broth explodes in your mouth. Do that with the mushroom soup. A mushroom soup, brodo, and tortellini. And you've got a little bit of a playful twist on a Thanksgiving classic. You know what I mean?
Oh my God, that sounds so fucking good.
I'm drooling writing these down.
So I'm great at punching up ideas, not great at originating.
That's fine. Neither are these chefs.
Either one of those.
Yes, I would eat the shit out of those. That's such a good idea. Well, Mike, you are top chef.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
I get $1 million furnished by our friends at San Pellegrino.
Yeah. Let me just check with the producers.
San Pellegrino.
Yeah, San Pellegrino or Hefty Bags. I don't know which one is this season.
And you get 1 free bottle of ranch dressing.
Yeah, and a really tiny tent at the Aspen Food and Wine Festival.
Absolutely. And with that, you can do whatever you want. You don't have to cook.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, it's a kissing booth.
There we go.
Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Again, if you want to donate to our charity this week, Mike is matching your donations, which is so incredibly kind. It's World Central Kitchen is the charity this week. You can Venmo Jordan at JORDANMYR1CK. That is in the chat. It's in the description of the video. It's all over. And thank you so much for watching.
Thank you. And also, speaking of watching, everyone make sure you watch Mike Cabellon on Mr. Mayor on NBC. Mike, when does it premiere?
It premieres on January 7th on NBC. We're on Thursdays at 8 o'clock. It's a double premiere on January 7th, so you're going to get 2 episodes for the price of 1. And it is in the NBC Universal family, so if we can go for a few seasons, maybe I'll be on Top Chef someday. So make it happen, folks.
Oh my God, if you get to be a
judge. I have to say, I haven't seen the show yet, obviously, because I'm part of the public, but Mike is one of the funniest and most talented people I've had the pleasure to work with. So I can't wait to watch the show. And I know Mike is like a main character.
Yeah.
Wow, thank you.
All over the fucking trailer. So
you gotta watch the show.
We got a little.
You gotta watch it.
Thank you guys so much, and tune in next week. Yes, John Hess in the comments pumping up Mike. We love.
Thank you, John Hess.
Thank you guys so much for watching, and tune in next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.